So let me say, we're now going to have we have a single representative of the doctoral class because we don't want to be here all day. And let me introduce that student. That student who is getting a drink of water is Dr. Sarah Federman. Let me tell you just a little bit about her story. She moved to Arlington, Virginia in 2011 from Paris, France, in order to attend the doctoral program. Well, most of the doctoral students came here from someplace else, but she had not yet been admitted to the program and hadn't even applied. But she moved to Arlington anyways, convinced that SCAR was the only logical next step after completing her master's in Paris and studying the role of the French National Railways in the transport of deportees to death camps during World War II and the conflict that continues in the United States today over that role. It's a very contemporary piece of that conflict that still is continuing to be transformed. So after a semester of taking classes, Sarah was admitted as the school's not only into the doctoral program, but as the school's presidential scholar working primarily with the Center for Narrative and Conflict Resolution. She considers her leap of faith to move to Arlington for SCAR as one of the best decisions of her life. It's been a great pleasure to get to know Sarah. I look forward to your thoughts.
I went in for the 2 kisses for France. I just got back. If you only do 1, they keep telling you, it's 2, it's 2, it's 2. So thank you. Yes, I am thrilled to be here, and I did take a risk when I moved to SCAR. I tried to look at all the different doctoral programs after I finished in France, but it was only SCAR that had what I wanted to do. And I would interview with other schools, and they say, you just sound like you belong at SCAR. You sound great, but I just think you could go to SCAR. So I thought that was pretty gutsy to leave pretty much my life and to pack up and move here. But my parents reminded me that sometimes to take the island, you have to burn the boats. So we burned the boats and I moved to Arlington, and luckily they let me in because I had no plan B. But SCAR over-delivered. I mean, I came for post-conflict work for the study of narrative, which is looking at how the stories we tell about our conflicts actually impacts how those conflicts unfold. I got an incredible group of fellow students and colleagues, and wow, what a group of faculty. So I'm really honored to be here. And it was the 80 Holocaust survivors that I interviewed as part of this French National Railroad conflict that taught me 2 life lessons that I wanted to share with you today. The survivors taught me, I mean, this was hundreds of hours with them, but that no act of compassion is too little and that no contribution is too late. And I think that's something that we often feel that it is too little and too late when we look at a lot of what's happening. I'm going to tell 2 brief stories of people I've interviewed that demonstrate this. The first was a woman named Rosette Goldstein, who I saw again just a couple months ago in Florida, last month in Florida. She tells a story. She remembers at 8 years old, the first day she had to wear the Jewish star to school. It was the star that really began to separate physically the Jews from non-Jews in France and across Europe. And Rosette remembers the ridicule of the other students. You know, she comes in all of a sudden wearing this funny star, and her teacher risked her job and maybe her life to stand up in front of the schoolyard, and she said, "Stop it. These children are our friends. They are one of us. Our country has gone mad, but we will not." That teacher did not end the murder of her parents, but Rosette has never forgotten that moment. It is never too little. And it was Daniel, who I saw just 2 weeks ago in Paris, with whom I learned the second lesson, that it's never too late. When I first met Daniel, he started to tell me how estranged he felt from the brother with whom he had survived first the deportations, the loss of their parents, then the deportation to Auschwitz, and then 60 kilometers of death marches to Mauthausen, where they were liberated. That was when they were 12 and 14 years old. They are now 85 and 87, and they've been largely estranged since. When I saw Daniel, he said, "My brother didn't even come when I had heart surgery. It's because I was a burden to him during the war. He had to take care of me, and he couldn't. That's why he doesn't want to see me." But his older brother Samuel said, "No, the reason we're estranged is because Daniel converted to Catholicism and had 6 children. I didn't think he wanted to be a part of my life anymore. I separated to give him space to have another life." So I started to hear these different stories, and we started to work together. We've been at this for over 2 years. And on April 30th of this year, we all met in Strasbourg, which is on the French-German border, and they began a new chapter of their relationship. After lunch together, I spent some time with Daniel, and I said, Daniel, the story's not over. And he looked down and he said, you're right, the story's not over. 2 days later, I got a call from Daniel saying that we performed a petit miracle, a small miracle. His isolated, cranky brother had transformed, and so had his wife. Now they just missed their sister, who refused to come to the reunion or talk about the war. So I sent her some pictures just to let her know that we were thinking of her. This week she responded, just 2 days ago she responded, inviting me to her house saying she is ready, and I will now work on uniting the three of them. When watching the news, we can feel like we're staring at a tsunami of conflict, and the pain seems endless, and we will likely not stop much of it. But what we choose to do, no matter how little or how late matters, we can always enrich the lives of the living. Always. Thank you.